It is July 1939, and after many years of struggle, the United Soviet Socialist Republics has begun to emerge as a power to be reckoned with. Welcome all to Global War 1936 version 4. We're looking at turn number 7 of Operation Varsity, a YouTube war I'm playing with the good fellows, the veteran and 5-star general. Now, I have finally recovered mostly from my illness, which actually gives me a little bit more strength, which I am very excited for. Thank you all for your good wishes in my recovery. It's been a rough one. Between being sick, starting a brand new job, and my wife leaving for a few days to visit her sister who just gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. Then it's been a very hectic and busy week for me. And so with the grace of my fellow competitors, they have allowed me some freedom to not be as quickly paced, let's say, right? To give me a chance to recover. So we're looking at the Russian turn. Now, there's a few things we need to do as the Russians before we properly begin, and that is because the Germans have aligned Bessarabia, or aligned Romania, then we do get one dice roll of 12 for them aligning Bessarabia. So let's roll that right away here at the start. So it is one roll, dice 12. We'll use this brown dice right here. Let us see what the results are. A 9. We're very happy with the number 9. So let's roll that right away. Let's bump us up on here. So we're going from 12 plus 9. If I know my math correctly, we're looking at 21. Now let me just double check what our values are here for what it means when we hit certain income. At 19, we could attack other nations. So in theory, we could be attacking Finland this turn because the Germans have extended the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact to us. But first, before we do that, let's take a look at the CCP because their turn technically happens before the Russians' turn. The reason I did that dice roll is because that's supposed to happen after the Germans, and the veteran let me roll for them, which is quite lovely of him. So the CCP only control this territory. Now, my thinking is, though we have $7 in the bank, it is not worthwhile putting them there because they'll be easily squashed between these two forces that we have sitting here. So let's just, oops, this is not supposed to be there. Let's just roll for the recruitment because we're not going to be building any of their units on the map. Let's see, we need a roll of 1 or less. We would have to be extraordinarily lucky to get 1! Well, there we have it. Okay. That was very unexpected, but I will take whatever I can get. So that means 2 militia or 1 infantry. I think I'm going to go for 1 infantry. Now, we're probably going to lose that territory pretty well immediately, but nonetheless, let's just go with that 1 infantry right there. Okay, let's roll for Mongolia next, since we're going to work our way east to west. Now, I really don't think we're going to roll a 4 or less, but that is the result that we need. 33% chance, and we fail with a 10, which is understandable. We already succeeded 3 times out of 7 rolls, so that's really, quite good. That's really quite good. Above average. Yeah, above average, I would say. All right, so this is the situation in the world thus far. We see the Japanese doing some fairly major build-ups and pushing towards the KMT territory. We see the FEC have been building up on Calcutta, but have given up on British Malaya and Hong Kong as well. That is the situation. Anzac looks fairly okay so far. There's no threats to them, and things are generally looking okay too for Cairo. The Italians have built up some forces over here in North Africa, and apart from that, things are kind of emerging in a even pace. The British have made lots of landings in France proper, so the Germans have been tied up there for a few turns. But now the Germans have turned the table, reinforcing Paris quite strongly, building marines, and building up their battleship and heavy cruiser in anticipation of pushing towards, or potentially turning the tide here in the ocean war, at least a little bit. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Now, my map might not be as updated as I would like, but let's just leave it as it is right now. And if we'll occasionally touch base with everybody else to see how things are going. But that is generally a very brief update as to what the map looks like. In Poland, we have this situation where the Polish units moved off to East Poland, and now the Germans have grasped hold of Warsaw. I don't know, I didn't actually check to see if there's any casualties there, but this is what they started off the battle with. I'm assuming they won quite handily, but we'll have to check that out and see. That about covers everything. So let's do our combat. Well, what are we going to buy as the USSR? Well, we're going to upgrade a factory. So from 19, we drop down to $13 left over. And with those $13, we're going to upgrade this medium factory in Stalingrad, and it will now become a major factory. And that is it for our purchases as the USSR. Non-combat moves, we're going to move our fleet here in A14, and we're going to move them into port in Leningrad proper. So what other non-combat moves are we going to make? Let me first say that we are not signing the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. We felt that the Germans, historically, the Germans were supposed to issue the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact on prior to combat, and at least in July 1938, I believe. But in this case, they did not offer it to the Soviets, and so therefore we felt that. January 1938. We're now sitting at July 1939 before it was offered, and so therefore we feel like it is not as advantageous to us to sign the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. At least something we all try anyways this game. It might be a mistake. So we're not signing the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. Alright, moving on. Let us see what the actions we do now. So, combat moves. Let's start with the Spanish. The Spanish are going to make a combat move into the Basque Country. 1 infantry from Catalonia, 1 infantry from Madrid are moving up north, as well as an anti-aircraft gun and a fighter as well, too, just coming into that territory as well. So that's what's going on there. So we're going to roll that battle. This is the only battle that we're going to see. We're rolling 2 dice at 1, 1 dice at 6 is what the results are, and the enemy is going to be rolling. Well, these aren't the right dice. So 2 dice at 1, 1 dice at 6, and the enemy is going to be rolling 1 dice at 2. So let's see what those results are. A 3, a 12, and a 5. No good, no good. And a 10 over here. So we're going to roll a second time around. Let us see, let us see. A 9 and 2 4s. And here we have a 7. So we're going on to round 3. This round is statistically where we got 2 hits, and they got nothing. So we managed to take out the Basque Country, and we have liberated it for the Republican forces. And here we have another round added there. So our troops march into that territory, and I'm going to just throw this down here onto this, where are we at? Onto this chart here, just to kind of have a nice kind of comparison going in here. Now, of course, I could be comparing other battles as well, but for some reason the Spanish Civil War is more interesting to me. Yeah, if I kept track of the CCP attacks, things would look quite different there as the Japanese absolutely curb stomp the CCP forces. Non-combat moves, let's continue over here while we're at it. This Republican anti-aircraft gun moves over to Madrid. We're going to move this... We're going to move this heavy cruiser, and it's going to come out here into C-Zone A44. Yep, that's what's going on right now. So they're all out of port right now. And let's take a look at our non-combat moves happening over here. In southern Ukraine, we're going to move 1 infantry up to western Ukraine. And we are going to, let's see, we're going to rail a unit. No, we're going to move all these forces, the 74 forces. So in Leningrad, we have 5 motorized, 2 light tanks, and 3 cavalry. Those are going to move 2 spaces down to southern Belarusia. We're going to move 2 infantry here from the lovely state of Karelia. We're going to move them into Leningrad. Yep. And we're going to move this guy from northern Belarusia into, well, you know what, yeah, from Karelia we're going to move that additional dude down to Leningrad as well. And northern Belarusia we are sending alright, I think we might just leave that. We do have two movement, railroad movement, and so I am going to rail. I'm going to rail. I don't think I'm going to rail anything, actually. I'm pretty content with how the situation lies at this point, so we'll just leave it at that. I have some weak forces holding on to the cities. You know what? From northern Belarusia, 1 unit goes to southern Belarusia, and that about covers all of our movements. All right. Our 2 fighters and the seaplane and tactical bombers still sit in Leningrad, so I'm going to, I'm going to put these up here on this tray here. So that's the situation there. All right. I believe that is all we do as these guys. Now, I guess I forgot to roll for tech, because we can start rolling for tech as of this turn, sitting at 21, and that is just purely based off of what the Germans did on their turn. So we have 3 major factories at the start of our turn: advanced artillery, improved factories, and long-range aircraft. So I should have got a color-coded dice here, but I didn't. I neglected to do so. All right, let's bring some dice in here. So we're going to say the blue is for our artillery. We're going to say the Orange is for the improved factories, and then for long-range aircraft, we have plenty of whites, so that's what that represents there. Okay. So we have here is a 9 for the blue, and the white is an 11. So that means we did not get improved factories. Oops, that's the one I grabbed. So that goes up there. And then, what did I say? Yeah, the white, so that means long-range aircraft, goes up to stage 1, and advanced artillery to stage 1 as well. And for our improved factories, we get a +1 on the subsequent dice roll. Let me know in the comments if you like the system. For me, it means that things gradually move in an upward trajectory, so that kind of balance things out to some extent. So I kind of like that, a little house rule that I came up with and I've liked in previous games. So now let's roll for recruitment roll for the Spanish. I'm kind of all over the place, I apologize. So recruitment roll for the Spanish, I believe the number that they need to roll is something to the tune of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that only it? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I thought it was a little bit more. 7 or less. Let's do red because we stand for the Comintern. Now, I think we're going to miss this one. Yes, we succeed. All right, so we get an infantry, which we shall place here in Madrid. That sets us up for a few different options. If we decide to go towards Leon Castile or Western Andalusia, we have some preparation in front of us if need be. All right. Okay, I believe we've done all our non-combat. We've done all of our money stuff, and we still are left with 1 income dice increase. So, because it is July of 38, we get 1 dice 12 each and every turn now. My hope that this is going to be our gooder one, which is 11. Fantastic. Okay, so 11 it is. So we're looking at 21 plus 11 brings us up to the Japanese value of 32, unless I have the Japanese wrong. So 32 for these guys right here. That is a very sizable income increase. So from 13 to 32, so that, let's do the 2 first, and 3, so that leaves us at a nice tidy $45 for the subsequent turn to spend and play with however we see fit. Excellent, excellent. I'm very, very happy with that values. I think we've really done good work, and I think not only do we feel healthy today, my wife's coming back in a couple of days, my job is going good, although I'm constantly exhausted, but to add to all that, we've been very quite successful with our 2 little income increase dice rolls, so that really makes me quite pleased. Thank you all for watching. Check out the Veterans Turn, and I do really express my thanks to those guys for being so charitable to allow me some extra time to really recover off of the sickness, and I really do feel much better. Thanks, guys, and it's been a pleasure to play with you. Cheers!